Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's me again, and the saga continues. Now, this video that I wanted to do about the recent bans for the Commander staples that you guys have all been hearing about over and over again, this one is about fixing some misinformation, because there seems to be this idea that is proliferating around much of the community, and it's just hard false. So this post is one of the most popular posts that I've seen in a long time that I've made. And you can take a moment and read it if you'd like, screenshot it, whatever, or you can head over to the Magic the Gathering MTG public Facebook group, and it'll probably be somewhere up on the top because of its popularity. There's been over 500 comments, thousands upon thousands of views, tons of likes and laugh reacts and whatever. And I get it. It's a really divisive statement. But one of the things that I want you to notice is that this post was made 3 days ago. I made this post. I was one of the first ones to have this take because I knew exactly what was going on. I picked up on it right away. I made a post about it and I let people know. And, I don't know if I am the first one to actually have thought about it, but I do know that on this specific group, I was most likely the first one to post this. And then it maybe started a firestorm of other people realizing that I was right and everybody started posting their opinions. I don't really know. But one of the ones that I've been getting over and over again on this specific post is this kind of thing right here. You see right there at the very top, this gentleman by the name of Ricardo said, "Stop seeing pieces of cardboard as investment. They are just fancy geek toys for people like us, nothing more or nothing less." This is something that a lot of people have been saying. This is, and I'm sorry, Ricardo, I'm not trying to out you, but if you just look down, there's another guy that says it's a game, not a stock market. This idea that Magic the Gathering somehow is just a game and therefore should not have any value is absolutely ridiculous. And whoever started this probably worked for Wizards of the Coast, so that way they could gaslight everybody into thinking that, hey, these pieces don't really have value. It's just a game. It's no big deal. Whatever we decide to do shouldn't really hurt you financially because you're paying for the game. You're not paying for, an investment. You're not making an investment. But then at the very same time, that same company that has started spreading this nonsense to everybody also says that they are selling collectibles. Collectibles, okay? The entire purpose of the 30th anniversary debacle that happened a few months ago was their reasoning for that was, hey, this is only for collectors. This isn't for the average player. And all the average players were upset because they were like, hey, you should be looking out for us. You shouldn't be trying to divide us. And yet here they are doing it again. And everybody has bought into this idea that it's just a game. It's just a game. It's just a game. Guys, listen, it is not just a game. Wizards of the Coast and everybody that is involved with Wizards of the Coast is hyper aware that their products that they are printing have value. They have value. In fact, the whole business model is surrounded around that specific type of value. These bannings, the reason why everyone is so mad about them is because they were marketed as collectible game pieces. All right. Yes, they're game pieces, but they're collectible game pieces. Okay. The idea that something is collectible means that it has value. Whether it has value to you, that doesn't change everything. You are not the center of the universe. I'm sorry to tell you. There are people that highly value and are willing to spend real cash on these valuable collectible cardboard rectangles. Okay. And whether or not you're just, and I hate it. Oh my gosh. It bothers me to the core. Oh, it's just cardboard. Really? Is it just cardboard? Is it just cardboard that millions of Magic players around the world spend a moronic amount of money on? Are we all just stupid? Or does it actually have some built-in value into what it is? Because the thing is, these cardboard rectangles, as you like to say, these represent a collective love and nostalgia that you can't really attribute a value to unless you actually put money into it. If you're willing to spend money to get the feelings that you get with these specific rectangles, then I'm sorry, there's just value to it. All right. Yeah. Like, you're not going to live and eat and breathe magic cards, like, duh. Right. But there's different types of value. And if you don't understand that, then you need to go to school and learn what value means and learn what makes something worth money. Because, I mean, hello, newsflash, we can't live and breathe and eat gold, and yet it still has value. Right. And there's really nothing to it. Right. It's just found in the dirt, but there's work applied to it to gain it. There's a nostalgic sense to it that it has value. It's had value for as long as you can remember. And you know what? You can apply it to different things. It has value because you can use it in electronics. You can use it all different. That's why gold has value. Let's talk about magic cards. Why do magic cards have value? Because you can play with them. You can do things with them. You can develop friendships with them. These are all real tangible things, right? So yes, guys, magic cards have value. Now, let's talk about the collectibility portion, because there for some reason people can't get it in their heads that collectibles can be considered an investment. So, like, here's the thing. So first, if you don't believe that magic cards have value outside of the fact that they're just made out of paper, like, you're living under a rock and you don't understand reality and you need to wake up. Okay. You've been gaslit too hard and you just need to wake up. Okay. So they definitely have value, right? Otherwise, Wizards would not charge as much as they do for Masters product. All right. That's a whole nother conversation, but just to put it bluntly right there, like, the reason why Masters product is more expensive is not because of the paper cost, right? They don't put any extra paper in Masters product, right? It's literally just because of the perceived secondary market value of these game pieces that they happen to own the printing rights on. That's why Masters product is more expensive. Nothing more, nothing less. Wizards does pay attention to the secondary market. I'm sorry to break your glass ceiling and ruin your perception of reality, but guess what? It was wrong. Now it's right. Hopefully you accept it. Now, moving on. This idea where it says stop seeing pieces of cardboard as investments. They're just fancy geek toys for people like us. Nothing more, nothing less. You are wrong. They are treated as collectibles. They are marketed as collectibles. They are printed in such a way to maintain their collectible value. The reserve list from a time before many of the people that play Magic the Gathering today were even born, right, was put in there to protect its collectible value. They don't want to get rid of the reserve list to protect the collectability of Magic the Gathering. Guys, Magic the Gathering is a collectible, and collectibles are investments. Don't believe me? Cool. You don't have to take my word for it. I already screenshotted a lovely page from Investopedia.com, all right? Are collectibles a reliable investment compared with traditional investments like stocks and bonds? Here we go. It says it right here. Collectibles are considered alternative investments and are generally less reliable as investments in stocks or bonds, though, of course, it depends on the stocks and bonds in question. Their value can be more subjective and can fluctuate based on trends and collector interest. In addition, they don't typically generate passive income and frequently incur maintenance costs. All right? It didn't say anything about whether it's a piece of cardboard or not. It just said collectibles. This could be collectible Beanie Babies. This could be collectible Pogs. This could be collectible anything. Anything. Okay? It didn't draw a line in the sand and say, these things are collectible because of this or because of that. It says that they're investments. So why should people stop treating them as investments? That's a ridiculous notion. It's the stupidest take you can take. It's the dumbest stance that you can have. Literally, Magic the Gathering cards are collectibles. They're marketed that way. They're created to be that way. They're maintained to be that way. They are collectibles. Okay? And you can tie any number of reasons as to why. You can tie the fact that they have art on them. Cool. You can tie the fact that they have memorable characters on them. You can tie the fact that they've been around for a really long time. You can tie the fact that they have limited print runs. Whatever you want to tie to the collectability notion as to why you think that they're valuable investments, it doesn't matter. They're still investments. Their prices are tracked. They have, and like people say, they're not stocks. Okay, so why are the prices of them tracked so heavily? Why is there an entire website dedicated to tracking the price of cards over a great period of time, similar to the stock market? I don't know, called mtgstocks.com. Why would any reasonable person look at these and go, these aren't stocks. These are nothing like stocks. They are exactly like stocks. Because let me tell you what stocks are. See, people that say this, I can already tell that they have no idea what a stock is. A stock is literally a made up piece of a company. You are owning a piece of a company, and it's totally made up, and they literally print it on a piece of paper somewhere there's a piece of paper. Now it's mostly digital, but somewhere there's a piece of paper that is signed by the ownership of the company and say, if you own these stocks that we made up, that we printed, you now own a piece of our company. And here's the thing. With Wizards of the Coast, they effectively do the same thing. They sell you a little piece of cardboard that is a piece of their company. That's a piece. It's a product, right? But you don't understand. Like, when you buy a Magic card, you own a piece of what makes their company valuable. Because the thing that makes Wizards of the Coast valuable is their product line, right? They're not producing anything but those cardboard rectangles. And because most of their business and most of their value comes from the perceived value of those pieces of paper, you are effectively buying into a stock of Wizards of the Coast. Like I don't know if you're following what I'm saying, and you might go, you're full of it. Here's the thing. Yeah, you don't have control over the company. You don't have anything like that. When you buy a piece of cardboard rectangle known as a Magic the Gathering card, you have no say into anything that goes on. But guess what? If you buy a stock, you don't either. A stock is a product of the company that went public. It is part of their product line. It is how they generate revenue, and it is how they value themselves. All right, that's what you guys don't understand. Like, you don't understand the banking world and how all of this works, and you don't understand how stocks work. Like, literally, you are buying a part of the company, but more than anything, you are not getting any power. You're not getting any decision making. You are getting nothing other than a product that was produced by that corporation. So, please, please, please stop saying that Magic cards aren't stocks, that Magic cards aren't investments, that Magic cards aren't this, or that they're just game pieces, blah, blah. No, they're not. You're wrong. You are wrong. And every decision that Wizards makes, they look at the secondary market. They track that secondary market. They have people over there that track the secondary market of cards. They make decisions based on what the secondary market of the cards that they've already printed is doing. They even look at the bulk rates, for crying out loud. There's, how should we determine how many cards we print? Well, we should probably see like what the average value of just a Magic card in general on the secondary market is. Because if that gets too low, that tells them they need to print less because there's too many out there. But if it gets too high, it tells them that they need to print more because there's too little out there to reach all the players. So they track everything, guys. You guys don't understand. And that's what makes the decisions behind the banning so much more heinous on both sides, on the side of Wizards of the Coast and on the side of the RC. Because on the side of Wizards of the Coast, they knew that the RC wanted to ban these cards, and they looked at it from the standpoint of, how can we extract the most money possible out of this community while still allowing this card to be banned for the good of this community? See, like, Wizards looked at it, and yes, everybody is right. Wizards only cares about the money. Like, that's dreadfully obvious, right? So, a lot of people are like, be mad at the RC, be mad at Wizards. No, they both are complicit in the wrongdoing, okay? This is what you have to understand. When Wizards of the Coast looked at this proposed ban, they had to say, wait, stop, don't do it, wait until after we get rid of all this product. Otherwise, we will not support you as a format, as a committee. And they have the authority to do that. Because they could just, and see, that's the thing people don't understand. They could just as easily start their own rules committee, just like they have for like Modern and every other format, and say, hey guys, we have noticed, and if they put this post out, everybody would follow them. Everybody would follow them. Why? Because they produce the game. And they could be like, well, since Sheldon Menery left, we have lost confidence in the way that things are being done. So we are going to absolve them for the Commander product line and their rulings. If you choose to follow them, that's fine, but we're going to be creating our own thing. They could do that like that. Snap of a finger and it's done and the RC is gone. Right? So absolutely Wizards has control of the RC. They have to, and the RC has to respect Wizards' wishes. It doesn't make any logical sense otherwise, okay? And the fact that there's also Wizards of the Coast employees on the RC. Oh, you didn't know that? Well, now you do. Oh, you don't believe me? Go look it up. I'm not going to waste my time. But here's the thing, like, you know, if you really think about it, they have to be intertwined with each other, no matter what way you look at it, okay? So Wizards of the Coast uses the RC as a scapegoat, and then they get to tell the RC how and when they're going to do their bans. But they'll be like, you know, and again, Wizards of the Coast doesn't care. But think about this. Like, if they have this conversation, Wizards of the Coast is just going to say, all right, cool, you can do it. We don't really like it because that's one of the chase cards. But as long as you wait long enough for us to get rid of everything that we have planned in the books right now. Remember, Wizards waits 2 to 3 years before. They plan everything out 2 to 3 years in advance. So they say, okay, we don't mind you banning those chase cards, but we have like 2 or 3 products that we need to, you know, wait until those are done before you ban those cards. And the RC is like, okay, I guess. And they waited. And this kind of goes all the way back around where it's so obvious that they waited. Because Jim literally got on, I think it was Discord or Twitter or something, and said, hey guys, we've had this conversation with Wizards for over a year. And you know that if it's over a year, it probably is closer to 2 years or maybe even more than that. But for over a year, that's just corporate speak for we've been in cahoots for a long time on this. Okay? And the thing is, it's even more solidified by the fact that if you watched my last video, Josh Lee Kwai left the CAG. Why? Why did he leave the CAG? Because he was staunchly opposed to this. Now remember, Josh Lee Kwai joined the CAG in 2019. Okay? 2019, while Sheldon was still alive. And I would like to think that in 2020, when they released the first copy of Jeweled Lotus, the CAG knew about this. And the CRC, the Commander Rules Committee, probably at that time went to the CAG and say, hey, we really think we should ban this card. Jewel Lotus is too powerful. And since 2019 was the first release of Dockside Extortionist, they probably brought that up there too. And they probably started thinking, hey, we might as well ban Mana Crypt while we're at it. And at that point, the CAG was like, no, we definitely shouldn't do this. And Wizards was probably like, hey, yeah, no, we have some products scheduled 2 to 3 years in advance. We definitely don't want to do this right now. And then the Rules Committee was probably like, you know, we really don't want this, but you guys make a lot of sense together. It's like a two against one scenario. We'll put this off. We'll revisit this in the future. Right? And then later on, the Rules Committee, after Sheldon passed away, the Rules Committee brought it up again when it got closer to the timeline that they had to have known about, with like Mana Crypt being released in September of last year, a year ago to the date. And they probably went to them and say, hey, we really want to ban it this time. And then the CAG was not notified about it at all. And we know this because the Rules Committee released a document saying they didn't let the CAG know. So why wasn't the CAG let known about it? Probably because since Sheldon is gone, and they already know that a lot of the members of the CAG, and I'm not sure of a lot, but I'm assuming that a lot of them did, right? Probably said, no, we don't want to do this. So they were like, okay, guys, Wizards, sidebar here. We really want to ban it. We know you don't care as long as it hurts your pocket. When would be the right time to do it? And probably some guy at Wizards was like, well, we're not reprinting Jeweled Lotus anytime soon. We're at a perfect window to where if you just let us finish getting rid of this product in about a year, it'll take us about a year to go through our 3 different print runs of the product and get it out in the festival in a box product that we're getting out to everybody. You can ban it right after all that's done. And that's fine. And that's probably the conversation that happened. I don't know. I don't have any proof. If you ask me for proof, I can only provide evidence, right? And come up with reasonable suspicion, which is what I'm doing here. But here's the thing. That's probably how that conversation went. Should we tell the CAG? Nah, they already know we had said that a while ago. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's do it. What's the date? The next update, which happens around September every year. Cool. You can do that next September. Not this September. Because remember, if you do it this September, we just are releasing the Mana Crypt product, right? So you can't do it this September 2023. You can't do it because that's too fast, right? Do it next September. And that's exactly what happened. Now, you say, oh, well, that's reasonable. If you think that's reasonable, you're an idiot. Because on the part of Wizards, I think it's totally unreasonable because them not caring about the player base at all is high tier, just a smack in the face, worse than the smack in the face of 30th anniversary, right? It's so bad. It's so bad because they could have easily have just said, hey, look, let the players enjoy their Mana Crypts for a while, enjoy their Jewel Lotuses for a while. Why don't you just ban the Dockside, right? The Dockside, we didn't just release this product. The Dockside was early 2023 in the Commander Masters product. Leave the Jewel Lotus and the Mana Crypts alone, okay? Let them have it for a couple years. See if banning the Dockside kind of slows down the fast mana pace. See if banning the Dockside kills a lot of the stinky combo decks that use it all the time and only play red specifically for Dockside and like gamble, right? Like let's just do that. And Underworld Breach, right? Let's just do that and go from there and let the players have these really cool cards. Mana Crypt has been in the format for 25 years or however long. Mana Crypt has been a legal card, and it hasn't been a problem this long. Leave Mana Crypt alone. And Jewel Lotus, we just printed this like 4 years ago. Come on, it is the quintessential Commander Chase card. This is a good card. People are gonna want it. It's gonna allow the store to sell product for years and years to come. Let's just leave that one alone. Nope, they didn't do that. They said, we only care about the money, do what you want. And then the rules committee was like, yes, let's send a strong message. Right? That's what happened. And they didn't care about people's pockets. They didn't care about people's money. They took this same stance. They're just game pieces, guys. So what that they're worth a bunch of money? They're just game pieces. How delusional. How absolutely blind do you have to be to do that to your player base, right? Because at this point, even if like you call Wizards for what they are, right? I think Rudy from Alpha Investment says it best. They're the greedy, money, hungry monster, right? That's who they are. They're the greed monster. All right, call them for what they are. It's not out of character for who they are. They could have stopped it. They could have done something better. They did what we expect them to do, and it's shisty as heck, but they did it, right? At the end of the day, here's why the RC is complicit, because A, they didn't let the CAG know at all, which eventually led to Josh Lee Kwai, one of the most respected members of the Commander community, to go, yeah, I'm out. They didn't listen to their own RC member who came up with a reasonable plan, who most people say this would have been a more reasonable plan. They didn't listen to Olivia, which led to her getting multiple threats of violence against her and her life, right? So she's their victim for being as dense. They all this is their fault, right? And they're also complicit in the fact that they could have listened to reason. They didn't have to go through with the plan. Sure, they made the plan a year ago, but they could have been like, all right, cool. Let's just ban Dockside and Nadu. Like, sure, people would have been pissed about the Dockside ban. What did Dockside do? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, besides being the quintessential red combo piece that just ends games and isn't even like a mono red card. It's like a multicolor card. It just makes blue and it makes blue and black stronger than necessary. And it makes like, all kinds of degenerate combo decks work. All right. So, besides that, but people overall would have been like, yeah, you know what? That's a pretty solid ban. Like, Dockside needs to go. And one card losing 50% of its value or even 90% of its value over time would not have been as bad as 3 cards that were all over, as 3 cards where 2 of them were well over $100. You know, like, guys, you gotta understand this, because here's the thing. And this is an argument that I have not made to this point, but people that buy Mana Crypts, right? There's 2 classes of people that buy Mana Crypts and buy Jeweled Lotuses. They're the people that will buy. There's three classes, but one of them doesn't buy anything. They're all proxies. They didn't get hurt by it. They're all proxies. Then you have the group of people that maybe buy 1 copy, open another one, whatever, but then they proxy the rest. They didn't get hurt that bad by this. But what about the people that support the game the absolute most and will buy multiple copies of this for every single deck that they have, right? The amount of Docksides they have, maybe 2 or 3. The amount of Mana Crypts and Mana Crypts and Jeweled Lotuses they have, probably like 5 or 6 of each. This is way worse than any single ban that has ever been done. Like, I had a playset of Furies in one of my modern decks. I had a playset of Furies, right? When they banned Fury, I immediately lost about, I don't know, 80 to $100 of value, because I think one of them was like the borderless or whatever. I wasn't even that mad. I was like, you know what? Fury is a busted freaking Magic card. I had 4 of them. I lost a little bit of value. All right. But there are players that lost 10 times that amount on those Mana Crypts and Jeweled Lotuses. That's the sad part, is that there was so much more value deleted on Mana Crypts and Jeweled Lotuses. And not just for the players, but also for the stores. It was devastating. And for people saying that it's not, that there should be no monetary value, I want to show you something. This is the last slide I'm going to show you. Hasbro. $72 per share. Times however many millions upon millions of shares that they have. This is a multi-billion-dollar company, with Magic the Gathering being the leading product line of all of their stuff. As a matter of fact, Magic the Gathering, in my opinion, is most likely what is propping up Hasbro as a company. And they are worth $72 a share. I want you to look down there and look at what Mattel is worth. This is another company, is another toy company like Hasbro that owns like board games and different things like Hasbro does, right? Only $19 a share. The difference between Mattel and Hasbro is that Hasbro owns Magic the Gathering. They own Wizards of the Coast. Okay? So that's how much value Magic the Gathering is bringing to the table to Wizards of the Coast, and then by proxy to Hasbro. A lot of value. Look at the next company that is on here. Walt Disney World. Walt Disney. This is the company that owns Marvel Studios, that owns all of the Disney products, that owns all of the Disney parks, that owns a streaming service online, that owns all of this stuff. And they're barely worth more than Hasbro. Think about this. There is real money at stake here, guys. Why is it that Hasbro can treat Magic the Gathering as an investment, but individual people cannot? Why can't you get that through your thick skulls? Okay? Magic the Gathering, based on what I'm seeing here, is probably worth, like, I don't know, $50 billion. Let's just throw it there. Make it easy, right? $72 minus what Mattel's value. Again, I'm not going to get into the specifics, but let's just throw a random number out here. $50 billion. All right, Magic the Gathering is worth like $50 billion. I don't even think that that's that unreasonable to say when you look at the value, the overall value of the secondary market and everything else that's going on, and the amount of money that they're able to generate every single set. I don't even think it being a $50 billion company by itself is even that unreasonable, considering how these things are valued. But let's be real here. Like, let's be perfectly real here. Hasbro treats Magic the Gathering as an investment. Hasbro treats Magic the Gathering as a stock value. Why can't we do the same thing with the game pieces when that's what they're doing? Okay? So stop with this stupid take to justify what Wizards of the Coast and the RC are complicit in doing, and removing. I don't even know. I did a real loose calculation early on, and I said, hey, this like deleted $17 million worth of value, like the minute that they did it from people's collections. And it was a very rough estimation based on the number of decks that are recorded with those cards with just Jeweled Lotus. Mind you, when I did this calculation, it was just Jeweled Lotus. If you go back, I said, yeah. So on EDH Rec, there Jeweled Lotus decks. There's 200K decks that have Jeweled Lotus missing and Jeweled Lotus listed, and they lost an average across all the different copies, $85 in value with the banning. That's $17 million worth of value. It is probably way higher than that. And we're not even considering Mana Crypt's value. And people are saying, oh, well, what happened to the value? Why isn't it dipping even faster? Because it takes time, and because people are really, really holding out hope. People are really holding out hope that these pieces don't go down, and people are diamond handsing it because of people like me who are so vocal, hoping that there's some kind of walk back done. Hoping that somebody comes out and goes, all right, cool, we're just going to make a different set of EDH rules. We're gonna and I actually have started to do that. I started a forum because I want a place that people can go to that is separate from WotC, separate from any of these people. I want a place where people can go to and we can start a fresh format. It's called unboundcommander.com. So you can go ahead and head over there and join the forums. I'm still working on it. I hope I get some community leaders in there that can really work towards building it out and adding the different forum rooms and becoming moderators and all that stuff. But like in my vision, I do think that Commander needs to be split from competitive and casual. And people say, oh, that's dumb. Well, think about it this way. They're already saying that they want this, that their strong message that the RC sent with these bannings was that they want the format to be casual. Cool. If you go to unboundcommander.com and read the foundational document, I'll tell you a little bit about the history of EDH and why that's the dumbest thing ever. You'll see it there. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Sorry for being so long in tooth. Hopefully you guys got a lot of value out of this. If you like this video, go ahead and hit me with a comment. Say thanks for taking the time doing this. Whatever you want to say. It all helps the algorithm. Give me a nice algorithmic comment in the comment section. Also share it with your friends. And if you don't agree with me, hit me with an algorithmic comment about why I suck and why you think that I'm stupid and why none of this makes sense to you. It helps me either way. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Have a good day. Peace, love, and chicken grease.